What's up, guys? I wanted to make a quick but potent video on the current crisis that we're having in masculinity and identity as a man and what that means. So one of the first things to address is that there's been multiple reports and documentaries and videos on the drop of testosterone in first world countries. So like this is like in the US and Europe, etc. There's been a actual drop in the physical levels of testosterone in the body. And this they equated to things like estrogen possibly being in the water, toxins in the food, heavy metals, processed food, things like that, that were actually measurable in the decrease in testosterone in males. And that's all well and good, and I think that's important, but I don't think that's actually the main issue. I think the reason that we're seeing so much crisis and men feeling, almost like emasculated or not in this masculine energy, this energy of doing, of going out in the world and conquering and directing your life and living focused and living with balls and with the spine, living your purpose and living with a strong mind and a strong focus and a strong vision and a clear path. That's what the masculine is. It's to serve the community. It's to protect. It's to have direction and focus and vision and like a very clear trodden pathway that you're going. That is the masculine. That is when men feel the most in their power and in their selves, in who they are. And I think there's definitely a crisis with masculinity, in that one, the information that we're taking in these days is just completely toxic. I mean, the top male role model figures are guys like Andrew Tate, who else, like Ty Lopez, Dan Blazarian. Like, these kind of guys are popular, and they're complete idiots. They're not, they're all ego. They don't have any real values of, like integrity, honesty, service to your community. It's none of these kind of classic values. It's more like, look at me and my ego and how many women I can manipulate and fuck. And that's what it is to be a man, and fuck women and all this like toxic ideology. And so basically it just traps all these it turns them into losers to think that this is what it means to be a man. And it's definitely not. It's definitely not. It's more like service to community and treating women with respect and as goddesses, and realizing that without women, we're completely fucked. We would be uncivilized savages with no hearts, with no love, if it wasn't for the feminine energy. And to not blame women that you can't get laid or have sex, but to maybe look inside and say, what's within me that is not able to attract women? Why are they not attracted to me? And not blaming women, because women bring that nurturing energy, that life force, that beauty, that surrender, that flow into life that we as men were so logical and stuck in our heads that we don't tap into that. So what women help us to do is get more into our bodies, get more into our poetic side, get more into our relaxed essence that is very hard to get into, being just trapped in the mind or trapped in this logical male mind. And we also help women in many ways as well. It goes both ways, but men more provide leadership, direction, focus, protection, things like that. So basically, that's one of the main pillars is these toxic figures, right? And another important pillar is the social media shit. So it's basically wasting time on these apps, looking at girls on Instagram, watching Netflix, eating shitty food, all this stuff. listening to bad music. I mean, all this stuff, it just drains and rots the mind from the core. It would be better to sit and stare at a tree for 2 hours than to do any of these things, because it's not that you're just bored and flicking around on Instagram. You're actually subtly getting programmed by these things, and they're basically sending you all kinds of subconscious messages like you're not good enough, or you need more, or the world is this way, and all this toxic news. It just paints a very bleak outlook, and this actually robs you of your soul and your life force and your ability to see life as a gift and as beautiful. So these kind of platforms, these video games, this technology, being on your phone all day, I mean, it just robs you of your life force. It just robs you of your soul, and it keeps you out of touch with yourself, because the more you take all these different opinions in and these different videos in, the less you know who you are and what you're about. And it just sucks you dry of like any kind of like creativity or sense of originality or authenticity. So this is the second point. And the third, which ties to this a little bit, but is a much more potent version of this, is pornography. And I'm fully convinced that pornography is actually the main thing around this. It's gotten much more high speed. It's gotten much more intense. It's gotten much more available and easy access. And they've actually done studies that show that pornography, it has a higher dopamine surge than cocaine. So there's guys that are, watching this every single night, giving themselves that dopamine surge, and then they go out, they go outside and nothing is beautiful. No, they can't see the trees. They can't feel the breeze on their face, because their dopamine system, their brain is wired. It's all fucked up. It's all, basically you could think of like a blown out electrical system. That's basically what has happened to the neural pathways when you blast yourself with dopamine every single night. And Andrew Huberman talks about this a lot, is like this dopamine surge. It basically just drains you of your life force on a much deeper level that we're able to recognize. And I think a lot of men struggle with this. I struggled with this myself. Sometimes I still do, but it's gotten much better because I've realized how detrimental pornography can be to my masculinity, to my sense of purpose, to my enjoyment of life, and very importantly, to my interaction with women, even as friends, like even socially. Like, I'm just not as present socially. I'm more socially anxious, versus when I'm not watching porn, I can connect with women as people. I can look deeper into their eyes. I can feel their energy more. I can be more of that masculine presence. I can be more centered and calm and make her feel safe. And it doesn't just go for women. It goes for friends. It goes for children if they're around. It goes for other adults. Like, it's just how you show up and your energy. And I've even had women tell me that they can tell when they're speaking to a guy if he watches porn or not, just by the way he acts and his energy and his eye contact, which I found really interesting. So I'll speak much more on pornography in other videos, but it's very important to recognize that this is something that is completely draining you of your male essence, your masculinity. And it also drains you of semen, which is also a very potent force within your body. It's a very potent energy. And they've even done studies that show, like, if a man keeps his seed retained, so it does semen retention for a week, his testosterone goes up by 400%. So just imagine that if someone is nutting every single night, that's that much testosterone that they're losing. So you wonder why you look around and a lot of men look lethargic and tired and drained. It's because they're giving away their sexual energy to a fucking napkin every night and to a screen. So this is it's okay once in a while, I guess. I still don't think it is, but if you want to do it once in a while, it's probably not going to have that much detrimental effect. But every night, if you're doing it, it slowly is just going to rot away your soul, and it'll increase procrastination and ADHD and all these things. And then the last point I wanted to talk about here is the purpose. I feel like a lot of men nowadays feel this crisis in purpose. Like, a lot of men, it's like, if I knew what I wanted to do, if I knew what I was here to do, I would put 100% of myself into that, and I would go all in with that. And I think that's really beautiful. And I think a lot of men feel that way. Like, it's just like, tell me what it is that I need to do. What's my purpose? And I will drop everything and go 100% into that. And I think nowadays it's hard to find what that is when there's so much, so much competition and so many things taken care of. I think a lot of men feel like they're not needed as much as they used to be. And so this is why it's vital to find a life purpose and to figure out what it is that you can become passionate about and bring into the world and serve the world with. And I think that every man has this thing. It's just a matter of finding it and implementing it and following it and believing in it. I think these jobs where you're just ticking numbers all day and you're, doing some service job or something, like, it's fine for a while, but that can't be your reason for existing. And living in comfort, like, oh yeah, I make a check, but I have like my friends and I go out and I party and but it's fine. Like, no, this is something that will year by year will just tick away at you, and you'll have a midlife crisis because you don't have any purpose for your life. You're living this life, you're going to die. And what did you bring into the world? What did you live? What did you create? What did you fucking birth into this world? How did you help people? Or did you just tick numbers all day or make sandwiches? Like, these are serious questions to look at. And I think men really need to figure this out within themselves. Give themselves that year off, or that retreat, or that sabbatical, or whatever they need to do to find this. And I think it'll help a lot in terms of masculine energy. So that's it. That's my video. These are the 4 pillars of why I believe there is a crisis in masculinity today. I'm going to do a lot more videos on this topic. Much love, guys. I hope this helps, and talk to you soon. Bye.